This time on the Driver's Corner, I'm going to give you a review of my 1997 Corvette. Stay tuned. So today I am driving to a Cars and Coffee event just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and I thought that while I was headed that direction, I would give you my review of my 1997 Corvette. I've had this car for almost a year. It currently has 190,000 miles on it, so I bought it with 180 or whatever, and I put about 10,000 miles on the car. The car, overall, you know, you can hear it, it's rattly, it's clunky, it's not perfect, but it's got 190,000 miles on it. So the fact that a sports car from the 90s that was built and bought to be beat on is still daily drivable, air conditioning still works, it doesn't leak anything. I mean, you really can't complain too much about that. So a little bit of history on the car. This was the first year that they came out with C5, and it was like a revolutionary thing. So coming off the C4 platform, the C5 just kind of was this huge leap in technology, not just in the manufacturing, but also it's the first year with the LS1 power plant. So that was a big thing for Chevrolet, and a huge thing for the tuner market, as you guys probably know, with the LS swap everything hashtag. But growing up, the C5 Corvette to me was just a really cool leap forward in even styling. For 1997, you know, this thing was still really progressive looking. So this is the last body style that had the pop-up headlights as well, because when the C6 happened, they went to a fixed headlight setup. And being a kid from the 80s and 90s, I love the pop-up headlights. So that's one thing that I think is really cool. Now these cars all came with, you know, leather seats and some variation. Mine were completely trashed when I got the car. There is another video I have on here where I swapped out to some budget race seats. These like Corvette rip-offs, which is really cool. And that completely changed the way this car drives alone, just the planted feel of it. But overall, I mean, we're looking at a car with 350 horsepower, and mine happens to be optioned with a 6-speed manual transmission, which makes it a ton of fun to drive. The amazing thing about these cars is that they can be picked up for next to nothing. I constantly see them listed on Facebook and Craigslist and Cars.com under $10,000, even low mileage examples. I think they're probably the greatest value in a sports car that you can buy in America right now. And I mean, probably for the last 5 years. The Corvettes have been sub-20s. The C5 Corvettes have been hovering around the 10 to 15 mark for the last 4 or 5 years, which is insane for the amount of car that you get. Now, there are some things about the car. You're going to hear people bitch about the cup holder. You're going to hear people complain about lack of technology. And if that's what you're looking for, then you're absolutely looking at the wrong vehicle. This is a bare bones sports car. Okay, it's not a luxury vehicle. This is a raw sports car. It doesn't have any frills. These didn't even come with heated seats, you know, so it's like you're looking in the wrong place if that's what you're doing. My particular car is a target top, so this portion will come out. I can pop this out. It's just 3 latches and it's off, and you got a really cool kind of convertible vibe. But overall, I was just looking for a fun sports car to replace my Porsche 911. But for the money, you can't buy a better sports car. So I did. I went out and I started looking for one, and I ended up with this 1997. I bought the cheapest one I could find because I really knew that I was going to be dumping money into modifying it. So I didn't really care so much about having one with 60-something thousand miles on it, or 30,000 miles. The styling on these cars still, I turn heads everywhere I go with this thing. It's pretty amazing to think that a car that's was built in 1997, people still have no idea what year this thing was built, even after 190,000 miles. So honestly, I can't really complain about how well the car is held up. The door panels, you can't really see it, but I've got some pulling where the vinyl pulled away on the door panels, and I mean, I'd say the carpet's probably maybe a little faded after all this time, and but overall, other than probably stuff that should have been done for years on this thing for maintenance, such as bushings, and at 190 it was still on the original adjustable magnetic suspension. I mean, the car's held up. It's had a new water pump, it's had a new thermostat housing, belts, tires, and then I put drilled and slotted brakes. I have lowered it on the stock bolts. The car handled fairly well. It felt a little mushy, and that's why I decided to go ahead and purchase the Z06 suspension parts, which I haven't put on yet. But there's 3 modes on for the suspension. There's a sport mode, a touring mode, and a performance mode. So when I'm on the interstate, I'll pop it into touring mode, and the car's kind of floaty, but not bad for daily driving. When I'm hitting some back roads, I'll go ahead and put it in the performance mode, and the car really stiffens up with the performance mode on. Now, I do think that the shocks are pretty done on this one, so that's why the Z06 stuff is going to go on when I have a spare minute. I can't bring myself to put the car down for a weekend because I'd rather be out driving it, right? So it's such a great car, especially with the 6-speed. Now, I can honestly say I've never driven one of these with an automatic, so I have no clue what that driving experience is like. But here in a second, when I get out of town, I'll goose it a little bit and let you see what this thing's doing. And I will say that I've said it like 3 times already in this video. There are better cars out there. There are cars that are built better. There are cars that are faster. But you can't buy a better car for the money. You can't buy a car that's going to do what this car is going to do. That kind of has the cult following that the Corvette has. The community for the Corvette is amazing. I can tell you that I've been a part of a lot of car communities. I've owned so many different brands of cars, and the Corvette community is the most welcoming. I'm just at home with 60-year-old guys at a Cars and Coffee event because I have a Corvette, as I would be with people that are my own age. I mean, they're just, everybody is super supportive. They're responsible drivers, which is another great thing. I mean, a lot of these guys wipe their car with a diaper, so you don't run into some of the car club challenges that you run into. When I had a Miata, it was like those people were some of the most reckless car drivers that I'd ever driven with, where I actually just stopped hanging out with the Miata club because I feared for my life. The Corvette community, I haven't really seen that. I haven't seen that happen at any of the events that I've been to, and I think that's also kind of a good plus. We don't have, the Corvette people don't have a bad reputation, which is nice, so you can drive around town even a little more spiritedly, and the police don't really mess with you because they don't think that you're kind of a hoodlum, which is cool. So I'm 39, and I'm one of the younger guys in the group that has a Corvette. There are some people in their late 20s and early 30s that I see show up every now and then. And actually, I bought this particular car from a 17-year-old, so he was driving this thing to high school, which is pretty awesome. And he's got another one now, so the guy that I bought this from saved up and bought a Z06 instead, and that's pretty cool. So I did an aftermarket exhaust on this. I think there's a video up about that. I chose like when I first bought it, it was kind of funny. So I didn't really expect to like the car as much as I have. I thought, oh yeah, I'm buying something. Basically, I was like, I'm buying an LS engine attached to a 6-speed, and I don't really care what the car's like. So when I went to buy it, I drove down there with the trailer, just expecting it to be trash, and figuring that I was going to have to do a bunch of work and rebuild everything. And I thought, man, it's just kind of a buying whatever, it needed an exhaust, so I bought a cheap exhaust. It needed seats, so I bought cheap seats. And now that I've owned it for a year, I really, I'm starting to get my eye on maybe taking off some of the less expensive modifications that I've done and going a little bit more high end, because I don't really see the car going anywhere for a long time. So it really kind of won me over, going from a Porsche 911. I've had V8 Mazda RX-7s. I've had turbo rotary RX-7s. I've had luxury cars like BMWs, and it's just different, and it's different in such a good and raw way. The C5 Corvette, if you want it to get rowdy, this car gets rowdy. If you want it to be civilized driving through town, the Tremec T56 is a very easy transmission to put around town with the manual transmission. So the clutch isn't too heavy. It's actually, I'd say, medium pressure clutch, so you don't have dead leg by the end of your cruise. I drive this every 2 weeks to Chattanooga and back from Nashville, so I get on the interstate with it. It's comfortable enough for me to take basically I do 5 hours of driving in one day on the Corvette every 2 weeks, and I always choose the Corvette. We have a Range Rover, we have a Porsche Cayenne, and I get in the Corvette every time I go to Chattanooga and do my 5 hour turnaround. So I think that says a lot also about just the car in general. A, I trust it. I trust it to go that far. B, it's comfortable, and it's also like a ton of fun. You get on the interstate and you can set cruise and go, or you can downshift and get a little excitement in your life. So I just, this isn't a typical car review. This is like an owner's love letter, I guess I would say. There are some cars that when you drive one, I think you kind of know that you might not be done. Like I tend to go through cars pretty often and pretty quickly, and I don't think I'm done. Even when I'm done with this particular car, like when I'm ready to upgrade or whatever, I don't think I'm done with Corvettes. I really don't. I just think there's something really special. So if you're at all considering a C5 Corvette, or even a C6, they're not that different, but a C5 is a very raw driving experience. The traction control has a button to turn it off. If you want to turn that off, which you don't even need to, it's still, the car is so cool that it even lets you break the tires loose a little bit before it starts kicking in traction control. So it's not like a nanny system that completely shuts you down. You can still, get this thing walking out a little sideways, coming out of a turn or a neighborhood with the traction control on. If you turn it off, it's like all hell breaks loose. So, but other than that, there's no tattletale devices. There's nothing that stops this car from just being a super cool, really, it's a modern hot rod. It's about as modern as I want to get, and still be able to call it a hot rod. So I'm not going over the features. I'm not going to show you this stuff. I'm just telling you, if you're even considering one of these, don't even think about it. Just find the nicest one you can afford and pick one up. So I'm going to get over to this Cars and Coffee event.